The Alchemist Full Book. In the golden fields of Andalusia, where the warm winds dance with the grass and the sheep graze in peace, there lived a young shepherd named Santiago. He was a boy of dreams and curiosity, a wanderer whose heart belonged more to the open sky than to the stone walls of any home. He carried with him little, a worn jacket, a book, and the constant company of his sheep, yet his eyes held the hunger of one who longed for more. He spent his nights sleeping beneath the stars, reading by the fading light, and speaking softly to his flock as if they understood his every word. But deep within, Santiago harbored a dream that would not let him rest, a dream that had come to him not once, but twice, in exactly the same way. In his dream, a child took him by the hand and led him to the base of the Egyptian pyramids. There, the child whispered that if Santiago dug at that very spot, he would find a hidden treasure buried beneath the sands. Each time he awoke, the dream left him trembling with wonder and confusion. What could it mean? Was it merely the fancy of a sleeping mind, or was it a message meant for him? The dream haunted him until, one day, he resolved to seek an answer. He visited a gypsy woman who interpreted dreams. She listened carefully, her wrinkled face unreadable as Santiago told her of the child and the pyramids. When he finished, she said, "You must go to the pyramids of Egypt. There, you will find your treasure." Santiago was skeptical, for her words were simple and her eyes seemed filled with mystery, yet she asked for nothing in payment, only that if he found the treasure, he must give her 1/10 of it. The boy left, feeling no closer to truth, yet something in her voice echoed in his mind. As he sat in the plaza of the town, feeding crumbs to his sheep and thinking of his strange dream, he met an old man, dressed in a robe that shimmered faintly in the sun. The man watched him with calm eyes, and after a moment, he said, "I am the king of Salem." Santiago laughed at first, thinking him mad. But then the old man spoke of things the boy had never told anyone, of his sheep, of the book he was reading, even of the dream. "When you want something," the old man said gently, "all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it." The king told him that every person has a destiny, a purpose, something he must fulfill, what he called the personal legend. Most people, the king said, give up before they begin, but the few who dare to follow their dreams find the greatest treasure of all. From the folds of his robe, he produced 2 stones, one white and one black. "These are Urim and Thummim," he said. "They will help you read the omens. When you cannot decide, ask them." With that, the old man told him to sell his sheep and journey to the pyramids. That night, Santiago lay awake beneath the stars. The idea of leaving everything terrified him, his flock, his home, the comfort of familiarity, but his heart whispered that perhaps this was the path meant for him. The next day, he sold his sheep and used the money to sail from Spain across the narrow sea to the coast of Africa. He arrived in Tangier, filled with excitement and fear. But fate, it seemed, wished to test him. While resting in a market, Santiago met a man who claimed he would help him reach the pyramids. Trusting him, the boy handed over all his money, and in the blink of an eye, the man vanished into the crowd. Santiago was left penniless, alone, and heartbroken in a foreign land where he did not speak the language. He sat in the marketplace, trembling with despair. For a moment, he thought of giving up. But then, he remembered the old man's words. When you want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. Perhaps, he thought, this too was a sign, a test of faith. Determined not to return defeated, Santiago began looking for work. He found a job cleaning glasses in the shop of a crystal merchant. The merchant was weary and cautious, a man who had long abandoned his own dreams. Yet Santiago's energy and ideas soon began to transform the small shop. He polished every crystal until it gleamed, and when customers began to notice, he suggested placing some on display in the window. Sales grew. Soon, Santiago proposed selling tea in crystal glasses to attract more people. The merchant hesitated, but Santiago's enthusiasm convinced him. The idea succeeded beyond expectation. Months passed, and the boy's savings grew. The merchant admired Santiago's spirit, yet confessed that he himself would never travel to Mecca, though it had been his lifelong wish. He feared that if he fulfilled his dream, he would have nothing left to live for. Santiago understood that fear well, for he too sometimes wondered whether it was safer to dream than to act. But his heart still longed for the pyramids, and one morning, he decided it was time to move on. He joined a caravan crossing the vast Sahara Desert toward Egypt. The desert was endless, golden dunes that shimmered like oceans of fire by day and turned cold and silent by night.
In the caravan, Santiago met an Englishman, a scholar searching for the great alchemist who could turn any metal into gold.
The Englishman carried heavy books filled with symbols, formulas, and the secrets of alchemy. He told Santiago that true alchemy was not merely a science but a form of spiritual perfection, transforming the soul, just as base metal becomes gold. As the caravan moved onward, Santiago began to learn the language of the desert, the silent speech of wind and sand, of omens and intuition. He realized that the world had a soul, and everything within it was connected by that soul. The Englishman spoke of the master work and the soul of the world, but Santiago understood it in his own way, by listening to his heart. After many weeks, the caravan reached an oasis, a lush valley of palm trees and cool springs in the middle of the desert. It was here that Santiago's journey took a turn he had not expected, for he met a young woman named Fatima. Her eyes were dark as the night sky, her smile like the quiet promise of peace. In her presence, Santiago felt something deeper than desire. He felt he had found the other half of his soul. They spoke each day by the wells of the oasis, and soon, he knew that he loved her. Yet love brought him conflict. For the first time, he doubted his quest. Why continue chasing a distant treasure when everything he wanted stood before him? But one evening, the alchemist himself appeared, a tall man robed in white, whose eyes burned like the desert sun. He told Santiago that he had been watching him, waiting for him to arrive. The alchemist spoke little, but each word carried weight. "Listen to your heart," he said, "for it knows all things, because it came from the soul of the world." Santiago told him of Fatima, of his fear that he might lose her if he left. The alchemist smiled. Love never keeps a man from pursuing his destiny. If it does, it is not true love. Those words pierced Santiago's heart. Fatima herself, when he told her of his choice, said softly, "I want you to go. Because I love you, I want you to find your treasure. I will wait for you here in the desert." With the alchemist as his guide, Santiago set out again into the endless sands. Days blurred into nights, and the desert tested him with storms, thirst, and silence. Yet as he journeyed, he began to hear the language of the world more clearly. Not with his ears, but with his heart. He could sense danger before it came, and one night, he even foresaw an attack on the oasis. Trusting his intuition, he warned the tribal leaders, who prepared for battle and defended the oasis successfully. Santiago realized then that he could truly read the omens of life. As they neared the pyramids, the alchemist decided it was time for Santiago to face the greatest test of all. One night, they were captured by desert tribesmen. The alchemist, calm and unafraid, told the leader that Santiago was an alchemist who could turn himself into the wind. The boy was horrified. He had no idea how to do such a thing. But the alchemist whispered, "Listen to your heart.
The desert will teach you." For 3 days, Santiago stood at the edge of the camp, watching the horizon.
On the third day, he stretched out his arms and spoke to the desert, the wind, and the sun. He asked them to help him, for they were all part of the same soul. The wind howled, the sky darkened, and suddenly a great sandstorm rose, swirling around him until he vanished from sight. When it ended, Santiago stood unharmed, and the tribesmen fell to their knees. They believed he truly was one with the elements. After that, the alchemist took him to a monastery, where he demonstrated the final transformation, turning lead into gold. He divided the gold into 4 parts, one for Santiago, one for himself, one for the monk, and one in case the boy ever needed to return. Then he said goodbye. "Remember," he told Santiago, "your treasure lies where your heart belongs. That is where your destiny will be." Santiago continued alone, following the signs until he reached the Great Pyramids of Egypt. The sight filled him with awe. He knelt on the sand and wept, feeling that his journey had reached its sacred end. Then he began to dig. Hour after hour, he clawed at the sand, but he found nothing. Exhausted, he was suddenly surrounded by a group of thieves who demanded to know what he was doing. They beat him, took his gold, and mocked his story.
"A dream, you say?"
laughed one of them.
"You're a fool."
"I had a dream once too, that in Spain, beneath a sycamore tree in a ruined church, there was treasure buried. But I'm not stupid enough to cross a desert for it." As the thieves left him battered in the sand, Santiago lay still, his mind spinning. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his face. The wind whispered the answer to him. The treasure was not here in Egypt. It was back home, beneath the very tree where he had his first dream. The desert, the journey, the trials, the love, all of it had led him back to the beginning, but now he saw the world with new eyes. He returned to Spain, retracing the long road of his memories. The fields of Andalusia greeted him like old friends. He found the ruined church, entered the place where he had once slept among his sheep, and beneath the roots of the sycamore tree, he began to dig. His hands struck something solid. There, wrapped in rotting cloth, lay a chest filled with gold coins, jeweled ornaments, and ancient treasures beyond measure. Tears filled his eyes as laughter escaped his lips. He had found what he sought, yet he understood that the true treasure was never the gold. It was the journey itself, the faith, the courage, the lessons, and the discovery of his own soul. That night, as the stars shimmered above the church roof, Santiago felt the wind blow softly against his face, the same wind that had guided him through deserts and dreams. He whispered into the air, "I'm coming, Fatima." The wind carried his words eastward, across the sands, back to the oasis where love awaited him. And in that moment, the boy who had once been a shepherd became one with the soul of the world, a man who had listened to his heart and found his destiny. And that was The Alchemist, a story that reminds us all to listen to our hearts, to chase our dreams, and to trust that the universe is always guiding us toward our destiny. If this story touched your soul, if it made you think, dream, or believe a little more in yourself, then don't keep it to yourself. Sparkles like this video. Speech balloons, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And bell subscribe to our channel, ThinkShift, where stories meet wisdom, and every word shifts your way of thinking. Remember, the treasure you seek is already within you. Thank you for watching. This is ThinkShift, and we'll see you in the next journey.